Good evening, I'm Dan Blake. Welcome to Glacier TV. Tonight sees the penultimate round of the race department Sim Teams Championship Blue Cup. INEX Racing are looking favourites to take the title after being victorious in 3 of the first 4 races. Last time out the series travelled to the Motegi circuit in Japan. iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series driver Enzo Benito put in a faultless display to win the 45-minute race in the land of the rising sun. The 5th round comes from a track that is steeped in tradition amongst such European venues as Silverstone, Monza, Hockenheim and Monaco, as we visit the iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit for 90 minutes of racing in the Ardennes region of Belgium. INEX Racing may hold a 106 lead at the top of the championship, but behind them the battle for second place is simmering nicely. Former champions Danielson Motorsport hold a 10-point advantage over Team GT, who are ready to take advantage of any misfortune. The battle's all over the field. The results of tonight could have a lasting effect as the teams look for crucial points before the final round at Homestead in 2 weeks' time. Will Team INEX get a 4th win out of 5, or will another team be able to step up and taste victory? Sit back and prepare for some thrilling racing from round 5 at Spa. And alongside me from the Radicals we have Rob Cuss. Rob, what are your thoughts on today's race?
It is going to be immense. One of the best tracks in the world. That'll run up to Eau Rouge. It's just going to be fantastic. There's a big cluster of awesome drivers racing in this round. Jason Lovett, Kevin Asher, Blake Townend, Jesper Talberg, Nelson, JB Masida, Alice Papler. A lot of drivers are bringing out, a lot of teams, are bringing out their big guns. INEX Racing seem to have the championship wrapped up, but the battle is still on for second and third for definite, with Team RPM within striking distance, the Radicals within striking distance of the podium shots. So 90 minutes of entertainment coming up.
Indeed, as you said, Bob, this race is 90 minutes. The last race we saw was 45 minutes, and I think there'll be some different mentalities from what we saw 2 weeks ago at Motegi.
Definitely. Looking for drivers again. Thankfully we haven't got Pirelli tyres on these McLarens, otherwise it'd be about 1,000 pit stops probably, but obviously pit stops come into play. Tyre wear, heating tyres, as we know, it's a common thing with these cars, and Spa isn't the easiest track on tyres. Lots of high speed corners that will bring the heat into the tyres a little bit too much, cause cars to understeer. Lost it.
Also last time we saw some rather rash moves and some touring car style racing with a longer race. You think that might eliminate that from happening again today?
Honestly, probably not. And for our sake, I hope not. Hopefully there's some proper big dive bombs, it'd be great. I don't encourage it, but it does make for great viewing. Hopefully the drivers will drive with their head on. It'll be quite good.
With this being a 90-minute race, I believe it'll be a rolling start, which is different from what we saw at Motegi with the standing start. So with the rolling start up to Eau Rouge, that's going to be some sight for us to see, I think.
It's a rolling start down to the source, actually, because it's the GP layout down.
Okay, but they still got that run down to Eau Rouge, of course. I think the first time around Eau Rouge is going to be quite spectacular to see. We'll have the qualifying positions up very shortly as well.
Yeah, it should be good. The source is going to be interesting. Someone's going to do a Grosjean, aren't they? Basically, we're going to see someone go through the middle of the pack. So the cars are lining up on their in their rows, ready for the pace lap.
Yeah, see the cars there stacked up behind that Ford Mustang iRacing pace car, ready to go. They're looking forward to this 90 minutes of racing. We're looking forward to 90 minutes of racing. Do you think anyone will be able to match Team INEX today? They've won the first 3 out of the first 4 races. They're looking for 4 out of 5. They've been pretty dominant this season, really.
Yeah, looking at the drivers are in, they're around the top again. But look out for flat out racing. Desmond Foley was quick in practice. The Radicals have got a strong lineup with their 10 top drivers this time round, so it's gonna go well. Just a quick shout out to all our sponsors for this series: rseat.net, Race Department, Sim Racing Teams, MIR, Sim Racing Hardware, Sim RJ, and Digi Gratnet. Some paint company. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Rob. So now onto the grid. On pole position we have Laurent Vtil in second place, and joining on the right way is Jason Lovett. Row 2 sees Kevin Asher and Joe Cardoso. The third row sees Desmond Foley and Blake Townend. Row 4 is Ludwig Anderson and Andres Quintana. And running out of top 10 on row 5 are Fredrik Tapman and Jesper Torbjörn Nilsson. 11th is Luigi Mospelino. 12th we have JB Masida. 13th is Mikael Helen. 14th Alice Papala. 15th is Kevin Clark. 16th Jamie Rushworth. 17th Carlos Casas. 8th is Jesper Grönweg. 9th Krasmir Prosnicki. 20th we're running out the 7th row is Mark Bird. 21st is Ben Tusting. 22nd Matthias Van Reeth. 23rd, a bit low down here, but it's Tommy Nilsson. 24th is Pablo Moya. 25th Teo Bubicic. 26th is Marty Sponsler. 27th Milko Taz. 28th is James Chesters. 29th is Dennis Garis. 13th is Yuri Gilson. And we got 35 cars who've qualifying times now, as we're about to get the green flag in this race underway. We're looking at the moment at the car of Blake Townend. Blake Townend, he starts this race in 6th position, and off they go for the start. They're heading down to the source for the first time, and won't there be a great job move like Rob Cuss said before the race. So far it looks like the top few have got through okay.
There's a little bit of door banging, but we might be alright.
Nice clean
Kevin
start.
Asher's gone to the lead. Oh no, Laurent Vtil takes the lead. Sorry, Kevin Asher moved up to second, from what I can see.
So a good start there from Kevin Asher as Laurent Vtil bakes his way down the Camel Straight for the first time, but behind him it's all action. There's 3 cars in close proximity to each other, and Jason Lovett is going to try. Jason Lovett dropped down to 4th. He's going to try and take 3rd place. He's going to go down the inside as they go into the corner, really make it stick. He's going to try it on the curve, but he can't quite make it around there. In fact, that was Joe Cardoso we were talking about there, but his first lap is Laurent Vtil who has the lead, and has there been any problems through the back, I wonder?
I couldn't see anything. Looks like we've still all got cars running, so it's all good. What a great start by everyone concerned.
It's a very good start indeed, considering what happened at Motegi. There was a lot of talk about the driving standards, but they've been pretty exemplary, I've got to say, for this at Spa. It's a 90-minute race and everyone's taking a conservative start, but Laurent Vtil is always starting to pull away a slight little bit, and as they come now, this iconic track, as we said before, we're now coming down towards Stavro, one of the corners in this track, and we're now looking at the car of number 44, which is Jesper Torbjörn Nilsson. He's closing up on the car in front of him, which will be the car of Desmond Foley. So Desmond Foley dropped down a couple of positions from the start, I believe.
Yeah, maybe got pushed quite a little bit. 90-minute race. Desmond has settled into a groove, and he'll be fine. He was, as I said, he was mighty in practice earlier. I hosted a session earlier, and a lot of the drivers attended, and he was looking quick as they come up to the bus stop very shortly for the first time. Late on the brakes, no contact. Jesper, so late on the brakes. And
Jesper Torbjörn into the there of Desmond Foley we're talking about, and that's going to be damage for both of them. I think Jesper Torbjörn's car is looking a bit bent up there on the front, but as they finish the first lap, and Jesper Torbjörn is slowing down, it's Laurent Vtil. Second is Kevin Asher. In third place we have Jason Lovett. Fourth is Joe Cardoso, and running out the top 5 is Blake Townend for the Radicals.
yeah, a good start for most of the guys, but it looks like Jesper's just. We were saying it was such a clean start by everyone, and then you get someone just missed their braking point. I could see it coming a little bit. He was going quite quick. Maybe didn't expect Desmond to brake where he did, but silly a lap into the race, and that's going to cost their team valuable points.
Yeah, Jesper looks like he's going to try and bring the car back to the pits, but it's ailing very much so. A lot of damage to the rear of that car, and even if he can bring it back to the pits, they are going to be losing a lot of time. We're currently looking at the 83 of Marcus Van Rife, and he's in a fierce little battle there with Tommy Nilsson, the number 71. So this is the battle for that's a slow car, which is the number. That is the car Jesper Grönweg you see slowing down there as well. He's slowed down. That's allowed Matthias Van Rief to go past. In fact, Tommy
Not sure what's happened there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's happened there. But Tommy Nilsson is on the move. He's a driver he's caused a stir in the iRacing community in the last year or so. He's quite new to the iRacing service, but one of the newer drivers who's impressing in their racing, and we're looking now at a battle between Desmond Foley and Kevin Clark, and Desmond Foley in fact just dropped him back, and Kevin Clark has managed to get past him now.
Yeah, team flat out, running flat out together in formation, making their cars look very pretty. Way, something's just gone crazy wrong with that car.
That's very bizarre.
He was in a straight line and just started. Yeah, in a straight line and just started fishtailing. Crazy.
Very, very weird to see that. But Kevin Clark has some car troubles there. When we saw the car, it just seemed to pull away from it still. He's managed to drive away from it. But that is a very bizarre incident.
I wonder if he's one of Ferrari's young drivers or something. Maybe had a bit of a massive moment. Car seems to go and find, and then that's it.
Yes, that's further down the order, but at the front we still have Laurent Vtil leading, Kevin Asher, Jason Devitt, John Pedasio, Blake Tanner in the top 5. We're starting to pull away from the rest of the field as well. There's a gap of about 3.5 seconds back to Ludwig Anderson in 6th place, and then further down in the field we've got all sorts of kerfuffles going on here. We've got Mark Bird and Tommy Nilsson involved. That's down in 15th and 16th position. We're now looking at the car, Mark Bird, I believe, in the Talk Freak Racing car. We've got Tommy Nilsson behind him, and then behind Tommy Nilsson is the number 83 of Matthias Van Reef. So we're early on still at this race. Remember, it's a 90-minute race. We've had just over 5 minutes, that's 85 minutes to go. Still a lot of jostling and momentum and racing to go.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like someone has passed Alice Papper as well for 13th place. I'm not sure who that was, but there was almost contact.
Now we've had a report that there's been an incident between Andres Quintana and Jamie Rushworth. Contact between the two, and Jamie Rushworth has in fact moved up in front of Andres Quintana as a result of that.
It was funny enough, it was Andres Quintana that just overtook Alice Papper as well, so they were obviously having a 3-car battle and going from there. Again, it's an endurance race. It's an hour and a half long, and I think the drivers are still in sprint mode because we don't have super long races in the iRacing calendars at all, so most drivers are still locked into must drive really fast, flat out for 20 minutes.
Is that something these drivers have to adapt to, the long race? As you said before, iRacing, the longest race they have on the roadside is the 65 minutes, the Prote GT, so this definitely is a bit of a step up for these drivers.
Exactly. You kind of, if you're not used to it, you kind of end up going, you drive at your normal pace and you don't really have a strategy. I mean, I did the longest race I personally done was the Indy 500, and that was hard to get my mind into, right, this is a long race, don't try and do anything daft, etc, etc. So these drivers are going through the same thing.
So here we go, it's still as we were already at the front. It's Laurent Vtil from Kevin Asher, Jason Lovett, Jacques Dasso, Blake Tanner, and up to 6th place we have JB Messina with Ludwig Anderson in 7th. 8th place is Frederick Sackman. 9th Mikhail Herling, and rounding out the top 10 is number 10 Luigi Nespolina, and he's got a bit of a gap back to Jamie Rushworth and Andres Quintana. It looks like there's a bit of action coming on here. We're looking at the number 50 car of Teo Bubacek, who's currently sitting in a 20th position, and hot on his heels he's got the car, that's the number 82 of Jesper Grunweg. So Jesper Grunweg who's slowed down earlier in the race, and there's another car going slowly down the Camel Straight I see on the left hand side.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
We're now looking at the Ludwig Anderson and JB Messina, the two teammates there, starting to hold up the cars behind them. So JB Messina is in 6th and Ludwig Anderson is in 7th, and in fact Ludwig Anderson has been overtaken as well by Frederick Tapman. So Frederick Tapman has found a way past the car there of Ludwig Anderson. Ludwig Anderson getting a bit loose there as they go through going to Campos down towards Stavolo, but he's managed to hold on to it, unlike what we saw earlier with that incident involving Kevin Clark. And Kevin Clark, incidentally, is still. There's a car behind. There's been an accident involving. Who was involved in this accident? It is. Matthias van Reef it was. He was in a massive accident for him. He's in the pits, and I think his day is going to be over.
Yeah, look, going back to the two teammates, Luke Vidangs and Frederick Tatman. There's currently no team orders, obviously. There's definitely no multi-21, and it's pretty crazy. We head to the battle with Kresimir Paznak, all looking up the inside on the bus stop. He's made one move, and he looks like he's hungry for another place. So he's up into 22nd. He's looking for P21.
Another driver we seem to have lost is the number 71 of Tommy Nilsson as well. So I don't know what's happened to Tommy Nilsson, but on this lap we've seen a bit of carnage. We said before that it was quite a controlled start, but we've had a bit of drama. We've lost a couple of drivers in that last lap.
Yeah, my racing's been a bit odd because that battle that I was talking about was actually for P18, not 25. So apologies for that. Seems our timing's slightly odd this evening, so you have to bear with us. As Dan said, there's battles going on everywhere, so as I flick to...
The battle for third place between Jason Lovett, Jar Cardoso and Blake Townend is near the top of the field, and Lovett's doing well to hold off Cardoso and Townend. These three drivers they're all very well experienced, and they've been involved in the Pro Series and the iRacing World Grand Prix Championships. A lot of experience there. And Jason Lovett trying to hold off these two drivers.
Yeah, he's got a little. He's just chill. He knows it's a long race. If they want to make a move, they'd probably let him pass. No point fighting yet. We've had 15 minutes to us. Coming up to 15, not that long.
Still in the early stages of this race, but Laurent Battal is starting to make a break for it. He's nearly 3 seconds ahead of Kevin Asher, and as we said before, we've got a battle for third place with Jason Lovett, Jar Cardoso and Blake Townend, and they've actually now lost that second group completely. JB Masida is about 6 seconds back, and he's got Frederick Tatman in close attentions, and 8th is Ludwig Anderson, 9th we have Mikael Helen, 10th is Luigi Nespolino, 11th Jamie Washworth, 12th is Andres Quintana, and 13th is the second radical car of Alex Papala, although he's under a lot of pressure at the moment from Desmond Foley, who's involved in that earlier incident.
Yep, I mean, Alice hasn't been racing much. He's literally jumped in and decided to have a bit of a practice yesterday. He's been concentrating on other things like work and stuff, so he's actually doing really well for his first race back in a long time, so we'll see how he gets on there. We've got a few retirees by the looks of it. It seems like Tommy Nielsen's out, Matthias van Reef, Jesper Groeneweg, Martin Vinthert, Yuri Gilson, Jesper Talbot Nielsen and Frank Lewis all showing at laps down, so they look like our retirees so far.
We've had just over 12 minutes of 90, and we're now looking at the car in 18th place of Kresimir Prasnicki, and he's just made a move, we believe, on number 21, Diego Comuni, going into La Source there. So La Source is a good place, and we've got a race control message. We have a drive-through penalty for number 77, Carlos Casas, for causing a collision. So Carlos Casas, who's currently down in 27th place, has got to take a drive-through penalty, and that will see him go to the back of the field. As in front of, we've got a bit of action here because the car, is that Mark Bird who's made a move? No, it's not Mark Bird, there's a car who's making a bit of a move to go forward. It's a car of Krasmas Prasnicki, in fact. So Prasnicki's made up a position, he's gone past the number 50 there, Teo Bubasic, so up a position for Kresimir Prasnicki.
Yep, look like a solid move. We've got a massive battle at the front between P3 and all the way down to P6 pretty much, developing, so that'll be good with Jason Lovett, Jar Cardoso, Blake Townend, as I just ran a little bit wide going into the back straight.
Yeah, it seemed like two of them went a bit wider. Blake Townend, in fact, may have caught up a little bit, but Jason Lovett's right on the tail of Kevin Asher here, and it might be long before we see Lovett trying to take that second position, with Laurent Vtil starting to pull away a bit. If they're going to make a move, try and catch him. Even though it's a long race, you don't really want to let the leader pull out a massive gap.
I don't know, time's good. As we head to the Pio Bubicic battle, this is gonna be a bus stop chicane pass.
Got two cars behind him, and he's gone a bit wide there, and that can allow the 21 with Diego Comuni a chance down into the bus stop. He's going to go for the move, he goes for the lunge, but it's well covered off there by Teo Bubicic. He had one move to make, and it's a little bumper
to bumper in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, there's also Constantine up there, and there's like 4 or 5 cars getting involved. As we look at the car again of behind Bubicic, just Diego Comuni, and now he's under pressure, and got loose there, the car behind him. Diego Comuni was lucky that Marty Sponsler got loose. He just managed to keep it on track, he managed to keep it away from him, but that could have been dangerous. As we now look at the car of Teo Bubicic in 17th position. Quite a lot of battling there, Rob, going through in the mid-pack.
Crazy, I can't keep up, it's mental. Boys, it's an endurance race. Slow down, let us work our way into it, it's all good, great. But no, yeah, drivers are going mad. It's great for us, brilliant viewing. Teammates on teammates, doesn't matter.
That's a battle from about 16th down to 25th, but they're separated by about 7 seconds. There, a lot of battling.
Yes, Blake Townend's looking at the back of Yao Cardoso for P4 right now, which he was sitting back there, maybe he was just cooling his tyres down, and yeah, we really need the points. Come on, Blake. Woo! Let's get that point, get that position. Let's get up there. It's not an endurance race, it's now a sprint race.
It soon will be soon be up the hour point. We've raced about 15 minutes so far. So as you say that, we've got 75 to go, and Blake Townend is only 6 seconds behind our leader, and he's now right on the tail. There's contact there, a little bit of contact. Let's João Cardoso know he's there. And we also have a drive-through penalty for number 33, Daniel Andreas, for causing collision. So the second penalty we've seen thanks to our live race stewards. But the battle for second place is really starting to hot up, and Jason Lovett is right on the back here of Kevin Asher, and if he can get a good run on the camera stroke, we may see an overtaking move going into Lake Om.
Yeah, that's pretty standard move at this track, so we'll see how that develops. It should be great. Just a little shout out to Alice Papler for painting our new cars as well. If you notice, the Rads have got a new paint scheme, so little shout out there.
It looks like it's going to be status quo. No one's close enough to make a move stick, or even to attempt a move. But Jason Lovett is stalking Kevin Asher at the moment, and as we get further on into the race, he may decide to make his move. But João Cardoso... But Diego Comuni has made an overtaking move, we believe, on the number 27 of Ben Tustin. So move that 21 car up into 19th position. And that battle is still raging on, and behind looks like there's going to be, in fact Diego's going to try and make a move stick there, but a bit too far. But the number 17 car of Pablo Moya is a bit racy, and he's very close there to losing position to the 22 of Kevin Clark. And Kevin Clark was the car we saw earlier in that bizarre incident where in this straight line he seemed to lose control and hit the wall. He's done well to keep that car running.
Yeah, he's done, he damage these too much, it's game over obviously. Like, someone's just run massively wide, and that was car 21, I think.
That is Diego Comuni, and there's a car sideways in front as well, and that was the car.
Cars everywhere.
And there's cars everywhere, this midfield battle. Yeah, and he's gone on, and that's a very close there to a collision. The number 27 car was Ben Tustin getting it all loose as they came to pull on, and now that's let the cars behind him stack right up, and they'll be trying to make a move on him, but at the same time he's on the offensive as well. Fantastic racing, but that group of 5 was decided to pull away a bit from the cars behind them.
Exactly. Crazy moves early on. Just a word of note, we've got the Black Rebels cars a little bit further back than normal. We expect them to be a little bit further up the field than they are. Currently you can't see on the paint schemes either the Radicals cars because we're having a few technical problems with the new skins, so which is a shame. But in championship wise,
and there's contact there. Sorry to interrupt you. Milka Taz has got into Ben Tusting, and well, in fact it's not Ben Tusting he's got into, it was the car of which cars he got into. One of those cars he was fighting. He's going slowly down. That's James Chester. So James Chester's number 57 with a spot of bother there.
another brave move at the bus stop. But back to the championship. Looks like, I mean, Team INXR Racing, they're walking away with it again with their cars running up the front with Laurent in P1 that we haven't talked about for a while, and then Jason in P3. So they're locking out the podium pretty much. RPM are doing quite well. They're fourth in the championship, and Kevin Ash is running a solid P2 at the moment, but he has to be aware of Lovett behind him.
And Theo Bubasic is a man on the move at the moment. He's made a little lunge there on Milko Taz, but he's got Dennis Garis behind him as well. Dennis, who's well known in the IndyCar fraternity. In fact, he won one of the Indy 500 races this last weekend gone, and now he's going to try and look on the outside. But is he going to try? So Dennis Garis is now really putting the pressure on. But at the front, we have Lauren Vtil in the lead. Second place is Kevin Asher. Third, Jason Lovett. Fourth, Joe Cardoso. And Blake Townend in fifth place. Blake Townend seems to have fallen a bit off those three cars in front at the moment.
Yes, long race, so it just chill and sit there. He's done a lot of long endurance races.
Might be in the best place at the moment because I think the three in front of him could start to jostle for position in the next few laps because they've sort of stacked themselves up into each other. We've got Jason Lovett trying to defend from Joao Cardoso, but at the same time he's trying to get past Kevin Ash, although Cardoso made a tiny mistake then, but in fact he's managed to get a bit more momentum coming down the hill and now he's on the rear of Jason Lovett.
Yep, he does, he's all over the back of him, to be fair. This battle for P2, P3 and P4, it's only second. It's only split by a second, which is not a lot at all, with a lot of racing still to do as well. So I think they're just staying in formation, to be fair. I know I'd just sit behind and save some fuel in the draft.
Tell you what, hello.
Hello, Will.
I'm going to interrupt today, and you see these cars are so close together on the racetrack, but we've talked about how important pit stops has been over the course of the season. This race, it is going to be so important because it's also a very difficult pit road as it is. You mess up, you're going to lose yourself 5-10 positions very easily.
And speaking of losing positions, Jason Lovett there was lucky not to use that to Joao Cardoso. They came down through down towards Pouillon, and he just went very slightly wide, but he's managed to keep the position there. So Jason Lovett looking a bit wild there. So Laurent Vtil, 7 seconds in the lead. We've only been racing for 20 minutes, but we've seen dominant drives in this series before from the likes of Enzo Benito, and Laurent Vtil starting to prove that he might be up with that sort of pace. He's got 7 seconds to go, but Kevin Ash has gone very wide. In fact, the three cars after have gone wide as well. So coming through that corner, through to coming out into the Blanchimont, they seem to be going very wide, but Joao Cardoso's got a run here on Jason Lovett as they come down towards the bus stop, and he may try and make a move for third position, but Lovett does well to defend the inside to stop Cardoso making that move.
I don't think he's trying to make a move. I think he's just saving fuel in the draft. These cars got a massive hole in the air, so Jason's doing all the work at the moment, and obviously with an endurance race, the more fuel you can save, the lighter your car becomes later on, and the quicker you can go. So, mate, with endurance racing, tactics come into play a lot. So, we'll see how he does. We'll see if he can maybe get an extra lap of fuel. Sorry, an extra lap out of his fuel tank, rather than sitting in the draft, rather than trying to make the pass. Because when you're battling, you're using more fuel at all.
Speaking of battling, the battle for the bottom end of the top 10, we've got Nugent Espino and Mikael Hallen, but also further back we've got the number 5 of Mark Bird in the Top Freak Racing Machine. He's under a lot of pressure from the number 88 of Desmond Foley as they come down towards Eau Rouge, and if he can get a good run out of Eau Rouge, he'll have a good chance to make a move, and it's a good run there from Foley, but Mark Bird seems to have pulled away a little bit further, so Mark Bird trying to defend that 14th position with all he's got, and he looks like he'll be able to hold on just for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it seems to me Desmond's off the pace a little bit. I mean, as I said, we saw him in practice and he was flying. I don't know if he's changed his setup or whether he's running a lighter fuel load earlier on, but he doesn't seem quite on the pace of what he was earlier on today in free practice.
I think that was a car that was involved in the incident with Jesper Tobik Nielsen down at the bus stop as well, so maybe he's got a bit of damage there.
Yeah, maybe a touch. Maybe he hasn't got the straight line speed that he would normally have, but you know, he's still P15. He's still driving good lap times. So we'll see. Maybe see if he sits in the pits for a little bit longer to get. Might have a small repair or something that might give him his top speed back.
Further back in the field, we've got a battle for 19th, Milko Taz, Tia Bubicic and Pablo Moya, with Dennis Garis watching behind. Those 3-4 drivers are still really giving it their all, and Tia Bubicic will be trying to make a move for Milko Taz in the near future, but you have to be careful with Pablo Moya and Dennis Garis behind as well. This battle for 19th place just shows that all through the field in this STC Blue Cup there's battles for all positions.
Yeah, the RC.net STC is fantastic. It's just got a strong depth of field, strong loads of drivers that are doing great. As Desmond Foley just goes to the inside of Mark Bird and says, "See you later, thank you very much." And that was into the bus stop. Perfect move, a little bit sideways on the exit onto the AstroTurf, and away he goes.
So that's Mark Bird moving up into, as Desmond Foley moving past Mark Bird into 14th place. But that battle we were talking about before is definitely hotting up with Bubicic and Moya. Moya is staying behind, but they're allowing Dennis Garis and Kevin Clark to catch up. So instead of a 4-car train, we're now looking at 5 cars, and Kevin Clark gets a bit loose there. And we've got Jarl Cardoso, in fact, trying to make a move here, but Blake Townend is going to go down the inside, and Blake Townend from the Radicals, but Bob said before he was probably just waiting to make his move. I think Blake has now found the time to make the move down the inside, he makes a stick, so Blake Townend up into 4th position. Now can he keep the car?
Slow exit though,
Slow
exit coming out of the corner.
Got a slow exit, but it was enough to keep Jarl Cardoso behind, so that's more points there for the Radicals at the moment.
Only just. Good move, Blakey boy. That was textbook pretty much. Let's see if you can hunt down Mr. Lovett and the INX Racing team, as they currently dominating once more. Although Kevin Asher, as I said, for RPM still comfortably in P2 at the moment, with a second gap over P3.
So yeah, Kevin Asher has got a bit of a gap out to Jason Lovett. We've got Blake Townend now in 4th place, but Jarl Cardoso will be trying to go past him, but then behind them they've got a 6-second gap for JB Masida, Frederick Tapman, Luke Anderson, Nugent Espino and Mikael Hallen. That's your top 10 at the moment, as we've now come up to about 27 minutes of this race, so hard to believe that we've had all this action so far, but only a third of the way nearly through the race, so still 60 more minutes to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, mental racing is brilliant, this series. I love the endurance racing because it's just extended sprint racing, really. Just going back to the Falcon GP car of JP Masida, I mean, the Falcon team are currently sat just in the top 10 in the standings. I mean, so he's on for a good point score for that Falcon GP team.
The points down,
running in 6th.
As we said before, the points from 3rd down to about 10th in the championship, it's very tight, but so for someone like JB Masida to get a nice clutch of points will do Falcon GP no harm at all in the overall championship. Now remember, this is the penultimate race of the season, so any points that they get now going into the final, puts them in a better stead for the final race, which is at Homestead on the B course. So they're going to America for the final race, and that's going to be a fantastic race. It's a fantastic track to finish the season on, but Spa is a great track as well. But JP Masida is 6th for Falcon GP at the moment, so as we said before, that will be good for their championship contentions.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, from P4 down to, all the way down to P13, really. It's all up and ground in the next, well, this race and one more, so it's can turn the championship on its head. We did actually miss a move. Pablo Moya did try going around the outside of our friend Tio Bubicic that we've been watching a lot. Didn't quite make it stick. Actually, yeah, it was Pablo Moya. Went slightly wide and didn't quite make it stick down at the bus stop.
Further up the field, there's a nice little battle hotting up between Andreas Quintana, Alice Papler and Jamie Washer, and that is for 11 points. As you said before, Alice has probably not done as much racing recently as he'd like to, but he's certainly hot on the heels of these two drivers, and this is just outside the top 10 positions. And 10th place Mikael Heelan is only about 4 seconds at the road, so if Alice can make a couple of moves here, he can try and close down on that top 10.
Yeah, Alice is one of the more talented drivers that I've ever had the pleasure of racing with, really. He just doesn't race enough, which is a bit of a shame, because I'm sure he'd be further up, but he's not doing too bad.
And speaking of not doing too bad, we're talking about a leader. Well, we won't talk about a leader because Andres Quintana right on the tail here of Jamie Rushworth, and we can see a move coming into the bus stop, but he's had a bit of a slow exit, and that's allowed Alice Papler maybe a bit of a... Alice Papler goes towards the outside to try and get the inside, but he thinks better of it. As you said before, Rob, it is a longer race. Maybe if it was a shorter race, he may have stuck it down the inside, but thought discretion was the better part of valour, so they stayed the same for 11th, 12th and 13th.
Exactly. Discretion definitely in endurance racing is definitely the better part of valour, so that's great. I'd like to say a big shout out to all our viewers currently on the Twitch TV watching us. Massive shout out, thank you very much for watching this Glacier stream.
And there's a move being hit. Blake Tanner does third place. Blake Tanner has found a way past Jason Lovett. So the battle there has changed, and now Joe Cardoso is going to try and make his way through, but he's not going to make it. But Blake Tanner for the Radicals gets himself into the top 3.
Woo! And that's all I have to say about that.
But Jason Levitt's got something to say as well. He's going to try and get that position back, but he's got to be careful because any slight mistake, and João Cardoso is that close. In fact, João Cardoso
he's going to have a look.
He's going to have a look. Just about thinking very close racing, close but fair, and João Cardoso takes 4th place. So Jason Lovett, who was 3rd at the start of the lap, and now he finds himself down in 5th place, and not a very good lap for Lovett.
No, but we know what these X-Racing boys are like. They regroup, he's got the time, they regroup, set himself down, and they go again. I mean, that team is so strong. The boys are, they've got such a depth of field. He'll just sit there, he gets him, the boys will be like, just chill. His engineers will be like, we'll be fine. You're back in the hunt. Have a relax and go again.
Yeah, 106 points clear they are the nearest competitors. It just shows how this championship really has turned into the INX championship really. But they're coming up to slower cars now. That's number 52 of Martin Windker, who Blake Tanner will come. Blake Tanner gets a bit looser coming out of the bus stop, but he's not got loose enough to lose too much momentum. But our leader, Laurent Vtil, he's gone away. He's 11 seconds now, nearly in front of this battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. But then Kevin Asher it starts to pull away a bit from Blake Townend. He's got about 2 seconds on Townend, but we know Blake Townend's a very quick driver, so he'll be looking to close down that gap as soon as possible.
Yep. When Blake's got his bit between his teeth, he can be stellar fast, and he's showing it now. He's just, maybe he's just found his groove. Had a little word with himself, but yeah, so fast behind him. He's got monstrous straight line speed. He must have closed about 3 car lengths up as I was watching that.
But that's Blake Townend in 3rd place. Well, the top 5 at the moment is Lauren Vtil leading, 2nd is Kevin Asher, 3rd Blake Townend, 4th Jack Cardoso, and 5th Jason Lovett. In 6th place you still have JB Masida, 7th is Frederick Tackman, 8th is Ludwig Anderson, 9th Luigi Nespolino, in 10th Mikael Heelan, and 11th place is Jamie Rushroff. And the battle for 12 is between Andres Contina and Alice Papler. Those 2 drivers are still as close as they were the last time we saw them, and Papler right on the rear end there of Jamie Rushworth. A slight mistake from Rushworth and the Radicals driver will be there ready to take the position. We were talking about Desmond 30 earlier, he's in 14th position.
Yeah, he must have damage from the earlier incidents. He's dropped off the back of Alice Papler now, which is shame because Desmond was looking good and he was quite confident when we were speaking to him about this race. So there's a lot of warnings for track use at the moment coming through. Car 17 and car 50 have a warning for exceeding the track limits. Please stay between those white lines. Basically.
And that's a hot battle there with number 50 Ted Boops. You saw him make a move on Milko Taz down as they came through down the bottom of the camera straight down to Lake Comzo. He's made a position up there on Milko Taz, and car 17, as you say, is just behind them, which is Pablo Moya. So these 3 very eager to race, but they need to watch make sure they're not exceeding the track limits. In fact, there's 4 wheels off again for the number 30 of Milko Taz. It won't be long before the race directors start giving penalties. They're going to keep exceeding the track limits like this.
Yeah, I mean we've seen that the stewards aren't the most lenient stewards I've ever seen in a car race, but they're quite lenient today actually, to be fair to them. I mean there was a race where it was like penalties were given out like chocolate biscuits. It was crazy.
I like chocolate biscuits.
Yeah, so do I, that's why I'm fat. It's Andreas Quinton.
Milko and Saz, he's going to try and make a
move.
But Milko,
we've got moves going on everywhere.
We don't know where to put our cameras, but that was the number 17, the car of Pablo Moya, is going to go round the outside of the bus stop. He's made that stick, and that's going to be a fantastic move. But as it comes to the source, the 30 of Milko Taz is going to have the advantage and take the place back. So Milko Taz, it looks like he's going to try and get him under braking to take the place back. But lower down the order, they're fighting just as hard as they are. So close to contact.
We've got crazy moves. I'm gonna interrupt you, Dan. Sorry, I'm gonna be rude. Is Andreas Quintana, Alice Papler, and Jamie Rushworth with 3 wide almost going to the pool, which was crazy. It's just mad racing everywhere as they go around Rivage at the moment. They're and head down to Puon. they're still flat out. It's going to be interesting as they go along the back straight after the quick left right through Fact and Stavlo.
Whenever you interrupt them, I've only got 1 set of eyes, so I can't see everything. We got another penalty. Well, we got another warning coming up for car number 20, which is the car of Jason Lovett. So Jason Lovett in 5th place. And that is for going off track at turn 9. So Jason Lovett being warned there about exceeding the track limits at turn 9.
Yep, naughty, stay between the white lines. Oh,
and that he's one wide there. That very, very much off the white lines there was the car of Andres Quintana. That's going to ask Papa maybe to be close enough to make a move going into the stop, but I think he's just about going to keep his position, but be interesting to see what happens because Quintana is not far behind Rushworth, and Quintana there and half a look maybe there, but also Desmond Fairley has caught up to these 3. They've been battling hard, and that has allowed Desmond Fairley to come right on the back now of Alice Papler. No warning for car number 17, that's his 2nd warning. So that is the car of Pablo Moya, who's fiercely involved in a battle with Milko Taz still, but they've got to watch those track limits still.
Yep. It's just the guys are trying to race. Granted, they're going to put wheels on it. Fair enough. Do it a lot, like the boys are doing. The boys that are getting the warning, they're doing it all the time. So the stewards have got it right. Do it too much, get a warning. Do it once or twice if you're battling. Fair enough. Racing. As we are joined by Team INX's team manager, Team Olivia. How you doing?
Hey Rob, it's all good. How you guys doing?
Not bad. Your boys are flying. What's Laurent have for breakfast today? Because he is 12 seconds ahead and looking in complete control.
Lawrence is just a French beast. He's amazingly fast. I don't think he had any special to eat today. He's just unbelievable.
Yeah, you seem to employ machines, basically, as I've said many times. You must have some ridiculous training program for these guys. What do you think to Jason dropping down though? Do you think he can make it way back up? Obviously he's got to pass my teammate Blake. Do you reckon he can get round Yao? Yao's looking fast as well. What do you think, what are your predictions for this race as we're approaching 40 odd minutes?
Well, Jason is a very, very experienced endurance racer. He's done numerous of 24-hour and 12-hour races in Need for Speed together with most of our team. So he's calm and he's patient. He's in no rush. He's just feeling uncomfortable at the moment. And yeah, I was warned about going way too wide in some corners. So I told him, just calm down, it's a long race, you have no rush, just stay with these guys and see maybe if they're lighter on fuel and we can manage to jump them in the pit. So there's no worries at all.
Excellent. What would you think the other teams, who do you reckon is going to get second spot in the championship then? It's out of maybe 5 teams. Who's your pick for that second spot?
That's actually such a hard question. I mean, all of the teams have really good drivers, and I mean it's gonna come down to a track which isn't really that normal for racing, at least for me. And I think it's just gonna be about who's gonna be the most prepared for the last race. I think who's gonna get second place, because there's like 4 or 5 teams really close to each other. So it's gonna be about surviving the first laps as well.
Exactly. Let's just thanks for joining us, Timo. Let's just head back to Dan and go back to some of the action. And Timo, if you want to stay around and add a comment here and there, go for it.
We'll try and send at least one of the guys for a post-race interview, so I'm gonna be heading off now.
Liar.
Hey, why the wheel? Okay.
That was did it turn out Will Vincent who snuck up on us?
Yeah, and as we were talking there, João Cardoso was catching into Blake Townend as they came through Lake On. They're very close, but the order still stayed the same. It's Blake Townend in 3rd, João Cardoso 4th, and Jason Lovett in 5th. But Jason Lovett seems to be, dare I say it, dropping back ever so slightly.
So much for his team manager's prediction there as he falls back. But as Timo said, it's a long way still. So you see Blake and Yao are having a titanic scrap in this endurance race. It's excellent. Kevin Asher's slowly pulling a gap though. I mean, if they want to fight out for people, if they want to try and catch Kevin, they kind of need to work together and use the speed that they have and stop fighting and just nose to tail each other.
Yeah, maybe if they do start to work together, they can catch up. But Kevin Asher is certainly starting to pull away from these 3, and it looks like it's going to be it could turn into a 4-car battle. But at the moment, Kevin Asher is starting to pull away a little bit here, it looks like. But coming up to half of the race gone, we've got Laurent Vtil in command, 14 seconds in front, near enough to Kevin Asher. 3rd, who says Blake Townend, and João Cardoso right on his tail as they come down the camel straight. Blake automatically goes to defend very, very early, and João Cardoso cannot make the move as a result of that. In 5th place is Jason Lovett, 6th JB Masida, 7th is Frederick Tackman, 8th Ludwig Anderson, 9th Lucian Espolino, and 10th is Mikael Helen. So the top 10 a bit quick really for the top 10 staying in position as they were really. The only real battles we have in the top 10 is this titanic battle for 3rd between Townend, Cardoso and Lovett.
To do a shout out to our sponsors as well, RC.net, Race Department, Sim Racing Teams, MIR Raceline, Sim Racing Hardware, Sim Naja. So many thanks to these guys for supporting the series for STC. It's fantastic, and thanks to Glacier TV for broadcasting it.
Yeah, we'd like to thank our sponsors for helping to get this racing, because we've got some great racing with this whole season. We've seen some great racing, so thank you to the sponsors for helping us with this action. But talking of action, Alex Papler, right in the back here, Jamie Worship. Jamie Worship made a small mistake as he came out to turn 11. He got quite a loose on the rear end, which allowed Papler to close right in, but he wasn't able to do anything about it. So they stay in the same position, but the car of Jamie Ishworth is just starting to pull away from those two a bit here, so they might want to stop fighting and try and catch up to Jamie again.
Yeah, sometimes in endurance racing you have to just chill and just play for the lead, especially if the car in front's quicker and can tow you along. You see it all the time, you know, in endurance races. Just cars just not fighting, just working together, taking their time, catching the lone car in front, because two cars in a draft are quicker than one, basically. So as you see in the States on the ovals, works pretty much the same way on a straight line too.
Timo even has said that Laurent Vtil had not had much to eat really, but he must have eaten something, because with 15-second lead, this is turning into what we saw at Metegu, Lenzo Benito for the same team running away with a race, and Inex Racing look at the moment like they're going to get a 4th victory out of 5 races if this continues the way it is at the moment.
You know what, boys?
Complete. It's Will Vincent.
We're halfway into the race. I said I'll commentate half the race. I'm here now, okay? Shut up.
I wasn't having a dig. I was quite glad to.
I tell you what, though,
I'm quite happy.
Marty Sponsor, however, is out of the race. And I know you're a Radicals guy. I'm a Blue Flag Racing guy, because all those guys are absolutely awesome. But we're halfway into the race, and we're approaching pit stops, and all the way from about 3rd down to 10th, that can sort itself out big time in the next 5 or 6 laps.
As Papler's finally made that move on Andres Quintana down the inside at Lecom. He got the run down the Camel Straight in a fantastic move there, so that's something else for Rob to be happy about there. He's up to 12th position.
Yeah, it was a great move. I was watching that. I was just cutting and beat me to it. It was a good move, and he's away. So let's see if what he can do in clear air. How was your trip to the States, man?
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk about that a little bit. I had to say, I know you're talking about Dennis Grease earlier. Congratulations to Dennis Grease on Friday night. And also, J.R. Hildebrand's just been sacked from Hunter Racing. So much to talk about my IndyCar one, but this isn't IndyCar. This is the kind of before 12-GT3, whatever it is these days. But this battle I'm looking at right now is a little bit further down the field, but this freeway battle between Moya, Tass and Bubiak, 18th, 19th, 20th positions on the racetrack, these guys have just been stood between each other, no more than a second apart. And one of the interesting things I've seen as well, a number of drivers, Bubiak is one of them, the 50 car, been given a number of warnings from race control. Now I'm wondering how much they're going to get away with before they'll start getting black flags, but I've seen at least 2 as Tass goes wide down the XL4. But at least 2 of them from the 50 car, so I'm thinking some of these guys are on pretty thin ice right now, Dan.
Well, I think so. If it's a 3-strike rule, next time they'll be going for penalties, and Milko Tass was so far off there now, I think he needed to buy a ticket to get back in.
And the 30 car, just as we were saying that, the 30 car has also been given a warning by race control there. That is Milko Tass, who, to be fair from him, I think he just went a little bit wide on that curve on the exit of Dawn. That kicked the rear end of the car around. Race control, you have to say though, Rob, they are being consistent about it. You know, regardless of whether it's accidental or deliberate, you're going to get a warning. And again, Tass goes a little bit wide there on the exit of Baltimore. So as pit stops come up, these tyres, you know, are starting to get worn down. These drivers, he's getting a little bit fatigued already as Tass comes onto pit road. So he's had enough of his car. I was about to say, these guys are probably running on the edge right now. Look at Tass, he'll come onto pit road, get himself all fresh tyres, and hope that won't happen to him a little bit later on.
Been joined by Kevin Clark as well, so those drivers are racing close together and they both come into the pits at the same time.
So
yep, I have to say, go ahead, bro.
No, I'll let you talk, just once.
I was just going to say, RPM are in 2 minds right now. They're 4th in the championship, and they've got 1 driver in 2nd. However, the 2nd driver, Yuri Gilson's not having a great day. He's down in 33rd after 9 laps down with quite heavy damage, so it's not looking too good for them at the moment.
That right rear is completely torn up. He's still being able to drive that car. I mean, having a look at his lap times, his last lap was a 2:29.799. We compare that to what he's been able to do earlier on in the race. It's about 2-3 seconds off. So, and it looks as though we've got more drivers on pit road. Kevin Asher no, not Kevin Asher. Who is it now?
It was Kevin Clark. We said that before. He came in at the same time as Milko Taz, but it won't be long before the other Kevin Asher, comes into the pit. You want to think, but this battle for third place between Blake Townend, João Cardoso, and Jason Lovett, the pit stops can be very, very crucial to how this race pans out.
Indeed, and this is what I said a little bit earlier on. Blake Town and Hal Cardoso, they're separated for 5 times per second on the racetrack. Asher isn't too much farther ahead, and Jason Lovett is right in the picture. We know how good Lovett is on those in and out laps in that INEX racing car. Medisa, he's just a little bit out of the picture now. It looks like we've got ourselves a 3-car breakaway, 3rd, 4th and 5th position. But as far as I'm concerned, we've always seen how good these INEX cars are on those first couple of laps. Rob, and also that lap just before pit road is actually now Cardoso's going to look down to the outside, not quite going to be close enough as they go that long run down to Lecum once again. Love that. I think it's a dark horse here because we know just how good that car is on that in and that out lap when he needs to push it.
Timo even in exactly. I'll let you go, Rob.
Go ahead then. I was just going to say exactly. Thanks, Dan. I'm just going to say exactly what you were about to say. Timo even said, alluded to it before. Jason's done a lot of endurance racing. Those INEX cars are awesome to look at. I mean, we've seen Timo drive crazy races with great setups, in and out lap. Yeah, as Will said, definitely dark horse. These guys could possibly catch Kevin if he has a bad lap as well.
One of the things that you have got to pay attention to, though, and this applies to pretty much all of the drivers in the top 5, is where he'll come back out on the racetrack. Vtil, for example, he is about he's 30 seconds ahead of 7th place Frederick Tackman. Now, he's not going to be too big an issue if he comes to pit road against this traffic. But someone like Lovett or Cardoso or Townend, however, right now, they are kind of in that gap. When they make their pit stop, they'll come out among the likes of Mark Bird, Ben Tustin, Kreshmir Paninsky. So they've got the timer, they've got to get that gap perfect when they come out ahead of the traffic. Still go as late as possible, but don't put too much emphasis onto their car. And this is, love it again. It's all about strategic driving in these endurance events. Of course, there's a finite amount that these cars will be able to have when it comes to the fuel. However, you've got to try and figure it out and try and do it as best as possible. Meanwhile, the battle for the 11th position, I believe, is continuing on, and it looks as though that Alice Paplia is past. Now, it's been passed by Jamie Rushworth, Dan.
It's the other way around. Paplia has found his way past Jamie Rushworth. Paplia was 12th at the start of the lap, he's up to 11th, and Rob Cuss said before about how Paplia doesn't race very often, but he's a very quick driver, and he's very steadily getting his way towards the top 10. And also, in that top 10, JB Masida started to catch up to that battle in front of him. He was about 6-7 seconds behind, but now he's right down to just under 5 seconds. So JB Masida in that Falcon GP car is starting to get up a bit, but the battle for third's hotting up again, Will.
It is indeed, and that battle, Blake Townend and Hal Cardoso, they are separated by just inches on the racetrack. And I tell you what, though, lap traffic is going to come into play a little bit more right now as well. You've got Kevin Clark about to go a lap down to these 2 drivers. And for Townend and for Cardoso, they just got to make sure they get around the traffic okay. I don't think that either of these 2 drivers are going to make something that's too forceful before this pit stop is over and done with. I'm going to say the same for Lovett here as well. The important thing is that they want to try and maintain that gap to Masida just in case something happened on their pit stop, they overshoot their pit box, something like that, and by Masida did a 2:20.230, so he's right there with Jason Lovett. In fact, there, I saw Townend, I think he had all 4 wheels off the racetrack there, so he might get himself a warning from race control if he's not too careful. And Hal Cardoso there, a little bit wide there as well. On through, as I said, Cuss, you're always going to push wide in corners like that. So many fast corners here at Spa. And you've got to make sure that you stay within those pretty little white lines.
Yeah, don't want to be getting a penalty.
Talking about, Will, I saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was all fine.
Yeah, take your radical hat off and say it again.
No, I can't see. I'm not wearing my glasses. I should be wearing my glasses. And it's fine.
Okay. But meanwhile, as I say, now we are past the halfway point of this 5th round of the STC Race Department Blue Cup here on Glacier TV. Give a shout out to our guys over at rc.net as the lap car actually goes completely off the racetrack there at the bus stop chicane. I'm sure he won't get a warning from race control for that. Just literally darting out of the way to allow Tannen and Cordasso to go past. We'll get confirmation of their lap times to come past the stripe once again. But Blake Tannen, that last time by, he did himself a 220.057. Cordasso a 220.075. Love at a 110, and then Masida actually lost a tenth of a second that last time. Now has that lap traffic there as well. It might actually help him rather if he can get close through the Air Rouge Radio complex, but run up to Lacoon, he might be able to get himself a little bit of draft, and that will help him out just a little bit.
It's Kevin Clark, the man who was in the pits earlier, so he's got a heavier car, so JB Masida should be able to catch him up a bit quicker because they're on different fuel loads. Obviously Masida will be very low on fuel whilst Kevin Clark has just filled up.
Meanwhile, having a little bit further back through the field right now, it's getting a bit more spread out, but I tell you what, Rushworth and Kantara now, they're having a bit of a battle on the racetrack as Pavla is starting to pull away just a tiny bit. The gap right now on the racetrack, about 7-8 tenths of a second between Pavla in the 7th position and Jamie Rushworth. But then Quintana lapping fast right now. Then at number 11 cars, they come down into Lacoon once again, a 219.8 last time by Quintana, a 220.3 last time by for Rushworth, and Rob Quintana looking very strong in the middle portion of this race.
Yeah, it's you know, maybe he's found his groove well. We've said it many times before. Sometimes it takes you a while to get into the groove, and he seems to have just settled into a rhythm, and he's making headway, which is great to start doing now as well. As we go past half distance.
How long did it take you to get into your groove on Saturday?
A while.
I'll tell you a story after this podcast. It took me 160 laps last year because I loaded the wrong setup. You owe me a thank you, by the way. But meanwhile, I'm going to check in on our race leader. Last time by a 219.329. For Laurent Vtil, he's come past the stripe even faster, a 219.287. Only about a tenth of a second away from his fastest lap of the race. So Vtil doing very quick laps right now and also very consistent. It was a little bit of a slow lap on lap 22, but apart from that, through lap 19 through 24, separated his times only by about a tenth and a half from the racetrack. So that Inex Racing number 7 car really is putting on a good pace right now. Behind him, the RPM car of Kevin Asher now is 19.1 seconds behind on the racetrack, a 220.443 for him last time past the stripe. He's losing quite a lot of time, almost a second a lap in this mid-stage of the race. And in fact, it looks as though that Blake Tannen is starting to catch him. He did a 220.2 last time by the Tannen in that number 14 car. Cordasso a 221.2, lots slow for him last time by. Lava also dropping off the pace. Masida catching up a little bit, it's going to a bit wide there through Radio. Tackman is in 7th, and then you have Michael Helen in 9th. Alice Papida now up into the 9th position. Jamie Rushworth will round out your top 10.
Got a pit stop from the top 10 as well. Ludwig Anderson has made his way down to pit road to get his fuel. So Ludwig Anderson, who's running 7th, 8th position, he is now in the pits. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out.
And a final warning as well, Rob, for the 17 car. Stay between the white lines in turn number 9. The 17 car, of course, is Pablo Moya, who right now in that SSRC car scored in the 15th position on the racetrack, trying to put away from Ricardo Marinos in the Fast Track Sims car, who's currently running in 16th.
Yeah, just pushing the limits a little bit too much for the race stewards, which, you know, you got to push your boundaries as much as you can, really, as a car sort of gone wide, it must be that traffic. But yeah, you just definitely got to push the boundaries a little bit sometimes, and if he wants to make a gap, sometimes you have to do that. It's interesting. Just a note on Falcon GP. Am I going mad, or I only got one car in this race?
I've only seen one, to be fair. I've only seen one, but meanwhile, we're turning our attention to Dennis Garise for some reason, and he scored one lap down right now.
Yeah, Dennis Garise was very far off track. He was letting cars by because Bob said there was a slow car, and that was the car of Dennis Garise letting the leader come past him.
But one of the things with this track that people don't realise until they actually get on there, there's only about a groove and a half, maximum 2 grooves that you can actually race here. And, you know, it's very easy to try and set up passes. down into Lacombe, for example, down into Stavolo at the bus stop and La Source, but at the same time, Rob, this track is only really about 3 car lengths wide. We see it at the start of the race, these guys bunch right up, and there's not that much room, and of course on old tyres, makes things very, very difficult.
Yeah, when you're on old tyres and you're slightly out of the groove, it's you know, you're rolling around on ice basically. Not the easiest to drive around, but the boys do a great job. It's a great track though when you are in the groove. It's superb.
It's always one of those tracks, Dan, that you've got to, as Rob alluded to, you've got to get into that rhythm. Every single corner flows into another one. While at most tracks you can break it down into 2-3 sectors, you can do that here, but you've got to remember you can't take too much out of your car in sector 1, and then especially down into Lacombe, because otherwise, then all of a sudden you're going to really struggle for the second part, as it looks like Tackman and Helen on pit road.
Yeah, this track, as you said, Will, all the sectors flow nicely together where you can't really lose too much time. And talking about losing time, Jason Lovett is starting to fall off the back of this battle for third. Blake Townend and Jared Cardoso pulled about 1.5 seconds out of Lovett, so you may be struggling at the moment with those tyres.
Keep an eye out on these drivers as pit stops. Pit road's going to become a very busy place in the next 2, maybe 3 laps time. We are way past that halfway distance in this race now. Fastest lap times for some of these drivers, they're coming through on the timing screens right now, Rob. But we've still got a lot of racing to go, and especially after pit stop, this track, a lot more lap traffic will come into play.
Yep, lap traffic can be a nightmare. It depends where you catch them. You know, you catch them in a high speed part and you've got the faster car and kind of sit there and wait because you can't really go offline, as we alluded to earlier. Laurent Vtil, the leader, P1, is on to pit road. Let's see how quick his pit stop is as he slows it down and cruises along a very long pit lane, and he's probably eating an ice cream as he does that because it is massive.
This is one of the longest pit roads in all of racing, and it's also one of the slowest ones as well, as Kevin Asher is on to pit road now for second position. I actually believe that there's a car ahead of him on pit road as well. Laurent Vtil is on pit road. We've got Kevin Asher on pit road. Let's see whether Townend's in. Townend stays out, so he won't officially take the lead of this race because of where the timing scoring line is. But he now is the first car on the racetrack, and Al Cordasso is right behind him as they work themselves out of their source down towards Air Rouge once again. It also looks as though that Lover is on pit road. Indeed he is, so he's going to try and undercut the other 2 drivers right now as Vtil is out and away from pit road. Let's see what happens to Kevin Asher. He of course came in about 16 seconds behind your race leader, still on pit road in that RPM 07 car, and now the tyres drop down and he should be out and away any moment.
Side by side, Will, for P2, and Cardasso tried to make the move on Townend there, but Townend defends well, but they're really fighting it for this second place. Townend's gone loose! Oh no, contact! That's not what we wanted. Oh no, it's the curse of Rob Cuss again.
It is, and I tell you what, that was coming out of Lacombe there, and we'll try and get the Glacier TV Super Slow-Mo replay up on this, but what happened is that Townend, don't forget, this at that point in time was the race lead, because Laurent Vtil was on pit road, and Townend got loose into the second part of Lacombe, tried to sort the car out, then got loose on the curb as he came down to the final part of Lacombe, and then how Cordasso tried to take the inside line. You can see it all occurring there. I think that Townend's car just got a little bit too loose on him, but Cordasso had no room. We're going to have to see just how much damage there is to this race car. I think that Townend is way down right now. Cordasso is way ahead of him. In fact, Cordasso right now is battling like hell with JB Masida as they work themselves out from the chicane. But Cordasso's losing it as well. He's got some serious issues to his suspension by the look of it. Masida will be down the inside. He can't make the move work. Now he'll have to go around the long way as they come down into Blanchemont. But don't forget, he can't go off the racetrack and do it the easy way. He's going to have to hope that he gets a little bit of respect here from Cordasso. And both of these drivers will be probably coming onto pit road this time by. Now Mercedes is going to try and get that inside. Cordasso is struggling. What is happening to Blake Tannen as well? Doesn't look as though there's going to be too much damage to either of these race cars, but a big, bruised, battered ego for both of those two. Probably more so Blake Tannen, Dan, as all 3 of them now onto pit road.
Yeah, Blake Tannen will be disappointed with that, but it's put JB Messina now in a very good position. He was about 5th or 6th before the cycle of pit stops, and We said before, JB Mercedes having a quiet race in that Falcon GP car, but he's also now got up a couple of positions, and Jason Lovett, by pitting a lap earlier, also avoided that carnage, which is a very good move for him, and Inet's strike lucky again.
Yeah, so it'll be a 1-3 as it stands right now for Inex Racing. You'll have the RPM guy in the second position. Of course, we'll see where this all will sort itself out on the racetrack. To give you an idea, for example, Vtil right now is already past the start finish line, already out of Radion. To see where the RPM car is, he's already into the distance as well. We are looking right now to where Jason Lovett is, and he is now coming down into Les Sourds. He'll break that car down, right-hander, 45 miles an hour on the apex of that corner. Looks like he's going to be easy out with Cedo, actually. A good pit stop by him, and then Cordasso comes out second in line, and then Blake Talon coming out third in line. He's the one that suffered the most there, but you're right, Masida, he'll move himself up into what will be in net fourth position, actually, Rob.
Yeah, and I think he's still I think he is the lone Falcon GP car, so he's doing a massive job for his team right now. He has got, his shoulders must be heavy because he is carrying Falcon GP with pride on his shoulders right now and doing a great job. He's driving brilliant.
He's doing an amazing job for Falcon GP right now, and he really is putting on a clinic of just how you need to drive that car home in that number 37 Falcon GP car. We'll get confirmation of what the situation with these drivers as they come past the stripe next time by. The way that we see is Laurent Vtil, who is scored as your race leader in the second position. I'm looking for P2 actually, and I can't quite see him right now. We'll come. Kevin Ashley in the 07 car is indeed in the second position, and then it will be Jason Lovett in third, and he's currently working himself through the second part of Bull. And then in fourth is Masida, who's gotten a little bit loose actually through that corner. Then in fifth will be Alfredasso, sixth will be Blake Townend, and then we'll get confirmation of the other drivers as they come past the start-finish line. But Dan, it all goes to show, you've got to make sure you're on top of that wheel, ready to react at any given moment.
Definitely, both of them have lost a lot of time due to that incident, and very disappointing really, but as I said before, a stroke of luck there for Jason Lovett. And we talked about the race, but all drivers now have had a warning to stay between the white lines. There's so many of them who seem to be exceeding those track limits that there's been a blanket warning to every single one of them out there.
Naughty, naughty. Stay between the white lines. I mean, oh well. At least it's fair for everyone now. Everyone's had a warning.
Everyone's had a warning. Some people
race.
have had a final warning as well, though. Let's not forget that. And I think it was a 17 car. I'll have to come back and have a look. My timing went down on that one. But we've now seen these cars, they come past the start finish. I will run through the rest of your top 10 in just a moment. So I'll tell you what, Alex Papler right now, trying to work through some lap traffic. He will be down, scored in the 9th position actually. Frederick Tatman is currently the guy scored in the 7th position on the racetrack. He's got himself a 4-second gap to Luigi Nespolino in that Team GT car. And I tell you what, Dan, this team has come alive in the second half of the season. They were thereabouts in the first 3 races, but they really are racking up some good, strong finishes all of a sudden.
With the points so close together, Luigi Nespolino is certainly going to be doing his team a lot of favours, and as we said before, it's really, really close. From about 3rd, 4th down to 13th, there's very few points separating the team, so some big results can see you getting lots of places in the championship. And we're coming now down to we've got about a race and a quarter left to go, so the end of this race and then Homestead, I think we're going to see some great battling as the championship comes to a thrilling conclusion.
And we'll talk more about this after the race, but Homestead, with that banking and these cars, you're going to have a lot of passing. I remember the first time we actually saw these cars on Glacier TV at Daytona. Of course, long straightaways in some way, they're not going to have the corner to go through at such low speeds, but a lot of drafting potential when you get these guys onto a Roval. That'll be great to see in just 2 weeks' time here live on Glacier TV. Let's check ourselves down the field once again. Mark Bird and Andres Catana, they are battling right now for 14th and 15th positions on the racetrack. Mark Bird in the TFR 05 car, still doing a pretty good showing there for the TFR guys, Rob. But Katana is all over his rear, and then Brian Tustig and Kushman Bruninsky aren't too far back. As actually, I was going to say Diego Carini, but he's lost out quite heavily in the first part of this lap, running in the 18th position.
Yeah, I mean, they're all trying to pick up towards the bottom, the business end of the season. They're all trying to pick up as many points as they can now, heading into the last round, as you alluded to, at a half oval. So, every team is fighting. All the drivers are trying to get the maximum points they can for their team. So it doesn't matter if they're first or 30th, they're battling. It's just a war out there right now, a war.
It's a war, but it's still a war with respect. There's some things that I can't say which probably are unbroadcastable, but still a lot of respect between these drivers. The big thing is, however, once again, Inex Racing absolutely dominating. They haven't been able to get many 1-2s, but again, it's going to be a first third for these guys. We've spoken to Timo earlier, and these guys really pretty much have wrapped up the championship now with one round left to go. In 2 weeks' time, you're going to have to say that they're going to be racing for fun.
Yeah, but also, sorry to sidetrack, but João Cardoso has taken 4th place from JB Macedo on that last lap, so Cardoso is trying to get as many points back as he can following that contact with Blake Townend. He's gone past JB Macedo, but as you said, Team Inex really would be like an exhibition race for them. They would have probably won the Silver Teams Championship. They had 106 points before today's race, and they're going to extend that with the 1st and 3rd, so as you said, they can go into the race at Homestead for fun, but they still will go for victory. They'll want to keep this run going. They will want to make it 5 wins out of 6 races.
Indeed, and I'll tell you what, Lovett isn't out of the woods just yet. Don't forget that 2 weeks ago at Motegi, you could argue that there was a little bit of gifting going on from some drivers, but Lovett 4 seconds ahead right now of Cardoso. We know how good Lovett is at managing the gap. But with a fast-charging João Cardoso and JB Macedo, you've got to argue that these two are going to want to pull away from Blake Townend, their newest championship rival as well, but then also try and catch up to the rear of a Lover if at all possible, and make it only one next car on the podium.
Yep, but Blake took a second out of both of them that last lap, which is pretty crazy. So Blake's got the bit between his teeth and charging hard. But JB Macedo, fantastic job for Falcon GP. He'll want to get back up to the back of Yao quite quickly and try and maximise his point score, doing a sterling job. And Yao, he's been driving brilliantly. It's the guys at the top. The guys in the top 10 have been all brilliant. JB
that was
late on the brakes. Yeah, close racing. I'll tell you what, we haven't mentioned Danielson Motorsports. They're looking for a decent point score as well. They have 2 drivers in the top 10, with Frederick Tapman and Ludwig Anderson scoring decent points for them, because they are currently second in the championship.
They are indeed, and I'll come back to that point in a moment, because I want to go back to Townend. We have seen this before in the season. In fact, Rob, close your ears for a couple of moments. But we have seen Townend can charge incredibly hard and set some incredibly good lap times. He's got to be careful though, Dan. He doesn't do what he did at Motegi and just push that envelope too much and get himself into more problems. As also it looks as though that Anderson nearly lost it, and it's another 219 there from Tackman. So all of a sudden, these Danielson Motorsports guys are coming alive.
Anderson
we need a
just went side by side going up Eau Rouge. What happened there was Anderson went very loose at the bus with the bus to hold on, and the car of Mikael Helen got past, and started beside again, and Helen on the outside with Anderson on the inside, and it's going to be last of the late breakers here, and Helen is going to have the inside for the next section of the corner, but Anderson just about cuts him off. But I agree with Rob, breathtaking stuff. They were side by side going through Eau Rouge. No contact, and Helen spun. Mikael Helen has spun from 10th position. Last man put Alice Papa up to 11th. There's 3 cars gone past him, but the number 13 and Mikael Helen for the Black Rebels is going to get going again, but he's going to lose a few positions from that spin.
He is, and that was close racing there indeed. And I talk about how this track in many places is only about a groove and a half wide. It's only really a groove wide at Eau Rouge. You take your line into it. It's impossible to race side by side, but Helen and Anderson doing a great job there. Unfortunately for Helen, it ended up with him losing a couple of positions on the racetrack to Jamie Rushworth and also Desmond Foley, and also Alex Papler as well, so losing out quite badly there. Did Mikael Hesselin there in the 13 Black Rebels car. But let's go back to this Anderson thing, because Danielson Motorsports, they haven't really been, I'm trying to find the nice way of saying it, haven't really been, front page news here today, but they have both cars running the top 10, and I've said this before, Rob, get your 2 cars in the top 10 first, then get one of them in the top 5, then get the other one in the top 5, and then go for victory. Because you can't have one guy doing really well and the other doing badly. It's not the way to get a decent point score in this championship.
Exactly, it's a team game. It's been like that from the start. You've got to maximise your points for your team in every race. And Danielson Motorsports are doing a great job of that right now. Yeah, both in the top 10, both cruising around. They're going to get a good point score. A lot of other cars, I mean, obviously INX Racing did the same, but you know they're that next level that Danielson Motorsports really want to get to. They want to use INX as the mould and go right. Well, that's how they do it. They're running first and third. We need to be doing that. That's their next step.
Give you an update on retirees in this race so far, so you can tick off your favourite ones if they are out of the race, unfortunately. Jasper Groeneweg and Matthias Van Reef out of the race early on, as was Tommy Nielsen. Marty Spondler from Blue Flag Racing out of the race earlier. I know it's disappointing for him. And Yoshi Bergeron out of the race, Frank Lewis out of the race. In fact, I think Lewis is actually still circulating in that 8 car, but has currently scored 9 laps down. And there is the other Falcon GP car, by the way. It's the number 8 car who has scored 9 laps down. Dennis Garice is now out of the race. He is on pit road trying to get some further repairs, but not going anywhere. And then you've got cars scored 1 lap down. Martin Dinsler scored 2 laps down. And Jasper Torberg Nielsen scored 2 laps down. Then you have Ralph Kerman scored 1 lap down. Daniel Ardens scored 1 lap down. And Kevin Clark scored 1 lap down. So there you are, Rob. There is your Falcon GP cars. Number 8 machine scored 9 laps down.
Wow. It doesn't look much like a car. It looks like a shed. Sadly, doesn't look like it's doing very well going around. One careful user, that will be for sale later. Falcon GP, one careful owner, all good to go, ready to race apparently.
Onyx. Let's check in on the battle right now for 11th and 12th positions on the racetrack. This is between Desmond Foley and Jamie Rushworth. In fact, no, Rushworth has fallen back a little bit, so we'll go a little bit further and look at Foley and Alice Bettler. Because it does look as though that Foley is starting to close that gap right now. About 2 tenths per second a lap is the 88 car of Desmond Foley in the battle for the 10th position. But also Mark Bird actually right now involved in an amazing battle. And it's just been passed, I believe, by one car. Or he's involved in a battle with someone. And this is a lap car actually ahead, that's why I can't see it. But Mark Bird and Andres Quintana, they're going to be very close actually. On this run down to the bus stop chicane, Quintana's all over him. They'll come down into Blanchimont. Quintana being a little bit cautious on the brakes, so the lap car goes all the way to the outside line. Be careful when you cut back in. You know how easy it is to run over those curbs and spear onto the left-hand side of the racetrack. But Quintana right now really putting the pressure on Mark Bird. And it looks like we've also got another car behind there as well that was closing in. That was Ben Tusting, who lost out a little bit to the lap traffic down at the chicane down.
Yeah, they've lost out to Ben Tustin. That number 3, Andres Quintana, has been involved in fierce battling all through the race really. He's not been able to find that clear bit of air. He was battling earlier on, and now he's given Mark Bird a bit of a hard time now with that Top Freak racing car. So Andres Quintana's definitely had a very eventful and entertaining race today.
And Quintana will hopefully try and get himself a good run up the hill so they can go side by side in the battle for what is essentially the 14th position on the racetrack. You see there Quintana getting a very good run. Will Bird go defensive on the entry to Lecombe? No, he won't. Quintana will go down to the inside. Last late breakers, Quintana looks like he will go wide.
And he's gone.
And he will actually now be right into the clutches of Ben Tusting in the battle for the 15th and 16th position. And it shows you cannot break late at the group. You lose yourself all forms of time. And here comes Tusting. He is now right in the rear of Quintana, so working down into a barge once again. And once again going wide is Quintana. Tusting looking as if he's going to try and get himself an opportunity. Someone needs to give some sponsorship to Tusting.
Yeah, he's that white car's polar bear in a snowstorm springs to mind. But you know, yeah, he could do with a sponsor or two. I mean, we've got some great sponsors for this championship. Maybe they'd like to sponsor it. Maybe RC.net or Race Department, or maybe Sim Racing Teams, or maybe Sim RJ, or Sim Racing Hardware.
I'll tell you what, that is the best plug ever. Congratulations, well done. I'll tell you what, yeah, if you're any of those guys, or anyone else, I think you should give Tusting a shout, because he's doing a sterling job right now in that 16th position, and not allowing Quintana to pull away too easily. Don't forget, of course, the final round of the STC Race Department Blue Cup. the rseat.net 45 minutes of Homestead will be taking place in just 2 weeks' time here on Glacier TV. See how the rest of the season will evolve in that last battle. Will Inex even need to fight for a championship? We don't think so, but it'll still be great racing in 2 weeks' time here on Glacier TV. Behind Freshman Praninsky and Diego Crimini, they're going side by side down into the bus stop chicane. Crimini is all over. In fact, now he's going to try and do the cut under the 24 car. They're very close. Getting a little bit loose there on the exit of the corner. Here comes the Team GT car. I tell you what, I think he just needs to bide his time, be careful through their swords. He's looking to the right, trying to unsettle the car ahead of him. Very easy to do that on the swords. You see that, another wiggle there from Freshman. This could be allowing these two drivers to go side by side as they come down into Eau Rouge once again. For Comuni, however, I think he's just got to brake a little bit earlier, roll onto the gas a little bit earlier, then he'll be able to make that pass work. Dan.
Community right on the back of Pazanicki here, and these two have also been racing quite fiercely for most of the race with each other. There's smoke in front of them, and a crash! It's another three of Andres Quintana, and the other two cars who are battling, Pazanicki and Community, are innocent bystanders, and that is unfortunate for those two, but Quintana scores a bit of a pile-up there.
Yeah, and it started with the 15 car. As he came up Eau Rouge, he was into Radion, and he caught the curve, first on the right, then the left. It was the left-hand side curve as he came through Radion. He just got two of those wheels onto the kind of grey-painted line, and that's what caused him to snap loose. He tried to correct the car, slammed it into the Armco barrier. I talk about how narrow this track is. Ben Tostig was just able to get past him there. Actually, that was one of the best avoiding things I've seen in a long time. But then, Quintana, that car just veered across the racetrack once again. Nothing that really Praninsky can do because Quintana is just veering across the racetrack, and that also puts out Community as well. And that, Rob, is going to hurt Team GT's challenge in the championship, because Community was trying to work himself up into the top 15. Now he's going to be out the race.
Yeah, that's going to have a massive knock-on effect. Quick question, though. Who does Ben Tustin drive for? What team is he? I have no idea. Team White. He's Team obviously White. Captain Scarlet's. Captain Scarlet's.
I tell you what, I'll have a look. I'll have a look through all of our data. We will find out, and we will get back to you. And we're having a look. Actually, we've talked to Timo already. If the race stays as it is, Inex Racing will be your Blue Cup champions. If, and I say this very loosely, if Vtil can stay in the first position, Jason Lovatt can stay in third. Battle for second, third position, not really changed much at all. In fact, Lovatt's eating about a 10 to a second a lap, not much going on. To run through your top 10, Vtil is your race leader, a 27.5 second gap right now over Kevin Asher. Third place is Jason Lovatt, 33 seconds behind your race leader. Al Cordasso is actually caught up to the rear a little bit of Jason Lovatt, is only about 2 seconds back in the fourth position. Masida a further 4 seconds back from Al Cordasso, runs in fifth. Blake Townend in 6th, Frederick Tackman right behind him in the battle for the 6th position in 7th. Luigi Nespolino in the sole remaining Team GT car in 8th. Ludwig Anderson in 9th, and Alice Butler will round out your top 10. Having a look at the 14 car, we get to see how this track works actually. You see the gradients on how this car falls away with our onboard gyro cam as Townend comes down into the Fung chicane once again. You have to say that Tackman right now, Rob, is looking very, very racy.
He is. He's looking quick. Those boys in, the Danielson Motorsports team cars are looking. Their cars look good. You know, he's all over the back of Blake. You know, Blake's a big boy, can look after himself. He'll be fine. But we do need to stay ahead, definitely, because for the championship spots, we're right with him. So it's really important Blake does stay ahead, and it's important Alice worked his way up to Anderson as well, because if we stay in front, we gain more points. If we lose spots, then we're going to fall behind him even further.
Really? By the way, Ben Tosting, Twister Racing, that number 27 car. There we know. Twister Racing is a number 27 car of Ben Tosting. So Twister, go and get your boy some sponsorship. Let's actually check in. Let's stay with this battle right now between Tackman and Tano, because Tackman's actually got himself a very good run as they work themselves down into Eau Rouge once again. And I want to see the two different lines that these cars are running. You see there that Tano, a little bit of a wiggle actually through Eau Rouge, and another. I'll tell you what, that I think there might be a slowdown penalty for Townend. He was way over the curb there. As he came down, you see Tackman all over the rear of him now. He's going to have to go to the outside line. Will the Danielson Motorsports cars, they come down and they touch there. And I think that time, Tackman turned in a little bit too early and turned into Townend. But they are both back onto the racetrack. Tackman now lost himself about 2 seconds in that incident. I'm having an immediate look back at the replay. And I don't know actually, because Townend was actually pretty in the middle of the racetrack at some point. Both of those cars will start turning, but Tackman turned a little bit too early, and that's now put him about a second and a half back once again.
I think it's a racing incident we can say for that one.
I think
I told you it was war.
it is
War
actually
out there, boys. It's war.
And I tell you what, we've got ourselves 5 minutes and 35 seconds left on the play clock. Vtil, your race leader, coming past the start finish line now. Now, this means that there's going to be 3 laps of this race left to go. Look at the traffic ahead of that 7 car on Ryan Vtil. I'm sure that all of the Inex pit crew right now are just saying, you've got a 28-second gap. Slow that car down. Stay behind him if you need to. Because they're racing too wide ahead of him as they go through Rouge and Radion. And we'll get an update on who that is. Oh, no trouble! Milko Tejas is going to be out of the race. And I believe that could be one of the Black Rebels cars as well. We'll get confirmation. In fact, no, it's not. It's Jamie Chester's actually. Yeah, it is the Black Rebels car. So Jamie Chester's out of the race. And he got rear-ended there down at the exit of Radion. And Chester's out of the race. And Milko Tejas is out of the race as well. Because Tejas literally just bumped and spun the 2 cars around. They are out of the race, and I was just about to say Vtil had to be careful. Can you just imagine, Dan, if Vtil was 5 seconds further up the road?
We saw earlier what can happen with the Anderson Quintana accident, just how just a split second you can be caught up in something. But I think James Chesters actually doesn't have much damage, Will. He seems to be racing on at quite a normal pace, so Black Rebels car of James Chesters is still going, but I think Milko Tejas suffered a bit worse damage. I think he's now out of the race.
Indeed, 30 cars out of the race, and also a final warning for the 27 car of Ben Tusting as well for running extremely wide on the racetrack. I think our cameraman Yano put it perfectly. You don't bump someone at Rouge, you don't bump someone at Radion, simple as that. You know how scary that corner is at the best of time. Then those deep elevation changes, the car would just unsettle itself on the racetrack. And what are you laughing about, Rob?
Yeah, Cardoso almost lost it down in Ravage and got a little bit sideways, which was a great save. But he was fully committed to the drift cause at that point.
So, we have got ourselves, to say, just a couple of laps left to go in this race. Play clock now stands at 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Ryan Vtil is working himself now down into the bus stop chicane once again. So this time by the 2-lap warning for the number 7 Inex Racing cars who works himself out of the chicane. He'll come past the start finish line once again. Let's be honest though, these 7 car quietly dominant as always. And I love the drivers that just do this. They just put a half-second lead, half a minute lead, don't really talk about them. Absolutely dominant, Dan.
Yeah, we saw Enzo Benito do the same at Motegi. These Inex drivers really being the class in the field this year, and as it stands at the moment, they're going to be deserving winners of the STC Blue Cup Championship. They will take their 4th win out of 5, but as long as it doesn't get caught up in any dramas like we saw there, that could have really changed the championship. And if that had happened, it would have meant they would actually have had to race and had something to fight for at Homestead for the championship. But he's got a lap and a half to go. I think he's going to be taking it very slowly. I would if I was him. I wouldn't want to get caught up in any bother.
But don't forget also, Jason Lovatt can't actually take it slow, because Hal Cadasso is still only 2 seconds further back down the road. And this is the thing, you know, Lovatt needs to come home in 3rd if they're going to secure the championship here today. Cadasso is charging. You're seeing that Lovatt is running every single curve in the books right now, Rob.
Yeah, he's trying really hard. He knows they can claim it. You know, he's got to keep it there. Someone should give these boys a McLaren in real life and let them go racing. You know, I'd watch that.
We need to get sponsorship for Tusting first, but yeah, and after that, I think we can get that one done. I'm
sure the McLaren parts department would love to sponsor that.
Oh god, yeah. It would be amazing to see any of these drivers. And don't forget, of course, Jason Lovatt. And Jason Lovatt is one of the World Championship Series drivers. Lauren Vtil isn't, but Vtil really is one of the best drivers that we have in the McLaren GT3 right now. He's got himself about a lap and a half left to go in this race. I want to turn our attention back to this Town and Tackman battle, because Tackman has caught once again, but Tackman's car is all over the place there to work himself free advantage. That Danielson Motorsport machine, he's pushing so hard now.
And Danielson Motorsport need all the points they can get. There is only 6 points between them, or was it? They were very close in battle between Danielson Motorsport and GT Racing. It was at the start, the gap between those two cars, in fact, was a 10-point advantage. So, as we said before at the start of the broadcast, if either of those two teams had any mishaps, the other team would be quite keen to capitalise. So, 7th place of Tackman is good for Danielson Motorsport at the moment.
I tell you what, coming into this race, it's 348 points for Inex Racing, 242 points for Danielson Motorsport, 232 points for Team GT, so just 10 points in it. RPM having again a kind of up and down day. We'll talk about this one in the Glacier TV post-race show. Radicals, again, an up and down day for them, but one of their better days, you have to say, because not only is Blake Townend still running in the top 10, you also have Alice Papler running in the top 10 as well. So a good showing today for these two drivers. Playcock, 15 seconds left to go. Lauren Vtil, white flag, is out on the racetrack. This is the last lap now for these drivers. Vtil working himself into the last part of Lecum once again. Great race by him.
He's another machine, really. You know, that's all they are. Phoenix Racing, Inex Racing, even machines. Absolute machines. Put them in car and they will go fast and dominate. That's it. Basically.
Do you think their prizes will be allowed out the basement for a day?
I don't think they see daylight. You know, I truly think Timo locks them in some form of Inex Racing house, throws away the key for like 10 weeks, so all they can do is sim race, and
like
turns
Big
them
Brother.
into these monsters.
Like Big Brother.
No, not even. There's no cameras there. Will. There's nothing. It's just sim racing. That's it. They're
There are
only allowed to sim
cameras.
race.
We've got cameras here. We're looking at them right
Yeah,
now.
but you know what I mean. Like
I'll tell you
the
what,
outside world.
Let's pay attention. Because right now, Vtil has got himself less than half a lap to go in this race. He has got that traffic ahead of him. This is the 02 car of Marinos, who's called down in the 18th position. So 18 cars maybe will finish on the lead lap here today. But it always gets very interesting this late on in the season. You do sometimes see crew chiefs saying to each other, come on, let me get this one extra lap in and see if the other guys run out of fuel. I might need this extra lap. However, Vtil will come out of the bus stop chicane for the final time. He has done all he needs to do to help Inex Racing secure the championship. He'll come past the start finish line and he will take first place in the race. We need to turn our attention now to Kevin Asher, sat in at the second position right now. Don't forget, this is a team championship. Driver's point means absolutely nothing. Asher, driving team RPM, he needs these points to try and help RPM up in the standings. He'll come down into the bus stop chicane for the final time. He will claim second place for Team RPM. However, the guy that we all need to pay attention to, Jason Lover, how good Asher in fourth, he's still about 2 seconds back as Jason Lover comes past the start finish line. That will give the STC Blue Cup Championship to Inex Racing. They, after winning 4 of the 5 rounds so far, dominated not only of their first driver, but their second driver as well. Inex are the champions. Malcolm Asa will come home in the 4th position in this race, and that is for AB Racing. Jamie Masida will come home in the 5th position for Falcon GP. 6th, that will go to the Radicals boy of Blake Townend. Frederick Tackman for Danielson Motorsports in 7th. Luigi Nespolino for Team GT in 8th. Ludwig Anderson in 9th position, coming past the line right now for Motorsports, Danielson Motorsports. And then 2 Radicals in the top 10. You're going to have Alice Papler come home in the 10th position. With Flat Out Racing, Stephen Foley in 11th. Jamie Rushworth in Movigo Racing in 12th. Mikael Hannon 13th for the Black Rebels, just past the stripe right now. Now we're just waiting for Mark Bird, Talk Creek Racing in the 14th position. Coming past the start finish line to complete his race. Ben Tosting for Twister Racing. Someone go and get him some sponsorship. Will come home in the 15th position. And then the last 3 cars on the lead lap will be Pablo Moya for the Spain Sim Racing Club, Theo Bebekek for Team Influx, and then Ricardo Marinas, the last car on the lead lap for AB Racing. But hey, we've got a champion right now, Dan.
Very, very well deserved as well. Inex Racing, we've seen people say that this Inex Racing team could be one of the best sim racing teams for a very long time, and they proved that. So many quick, fast drivers. It's not just been a couple of drivers, as we said before. There are limitations on how many races a single driver can do, so you can't just stick in your 2 best drivers and run them all season. You have to have a good stable of drivers, and Team Inex stable, fantastic, really is. 4 wins out of the first 5 races. Very well deserved champions, and I think there'll be some celebrating Finland style for that victory.
Indeed.
No, they'll be locked in the house. That's it, they're not allowed out.
I'll tell you
quick
what.
question.
No. We'll come back to your...
No, go on, please. It's valid. It's valid.
Go on.
Where would Team Redline? Where would Team Redline?
It's a good
this
point.
Championship.
It's a good point.
It's a good point.
This ties into my point as well, because you have a look at the early days of Team Redline. You have a look at the early days of Team MicroID. Don't forget, we've interviewed both of these teams already in Glacier TV, Iceland. We're going to get Inex Racing in the next couple of weeks. But they started from very similar angles. I've spoken to Team O, known him for a couple of years now. You start it, you get the drivers, you mould the drivers together as a team. That is what Inex Racing have done. And, you know, they're getting stronger and stronger in the World Championship Series right now. Don't forget, you know, this team has a long history. If you think about, like, for example, Western Wolves, for example, the history on the oval side there. Inex Racing, they are one of the fastest growing teams in all of sim racing. Over the next 2 years, they're going to be right up there with the other 2 big names of Redline and also MyFreeID, especially in the road time. They've got a good stable on the oval side as well. Let's settle it down for a moment. We'll run through your top 20 in standings, and we'll of course start with your race winner, driving for Team Inex Racing, making it 4 wins out of 5. Lauren Vtil there in the number 7 car, the 07 car there for Ryan Piper's Mechanics. Team RPM will come home in the 2nd position. Inex Racing, Jason Lover in 3rd. AB Racing's Hal Cordasso in 4th. JB Mercedes Falcon GP car will come home in 5th. Blake Townend for Radicals in 6th. Frederick Tackman for DMSV in 7th. Luigi Naspolino for Team GT in 8th. DMSV's Ludwig Anderson will come home in 9th. Alice Pupler in 10th. Desmond Foley 11th, Jamie Washworth in 12th, Rick O'Halloran 13th, Mark Bird 14th, Ben Tosting in 15th, Pablo Moya in 16th, Thierry Bubkek in 17th position, Ricardo Marinas in 18th, Carlos Casas in 19th, and Jamie Chesters will round out your top 20. I say 18 cars finish on the lead lap. The best results, and also the teams that they're driving for, because of course this is a team championship. They are coming up on your screen momentarily. Who am I going to talk to? I'm going to talk to you first, Rob, for once. You said I was giving me my thank you, by the way.
Yeah, man. I'd like to thank Will Vincent for helping me out, and in case you didn't notice, I got into the top split of the Indy 500. Woohoo! I'm finished 15th.
Well done. I think I actually finished about 15th last year, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I've always said just finishing an Indy 500 is a challenge in itself. Were you 2 laps down, 1 lap down?
2 laps down because I had a speeding penalty, and the guys in front didn't start very well at the start, so I was half a lap down already.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, that was the craziest Indy 500 we've seen in history. Thanks to our friends over at PSR TV for broadcasting that one. We're going to do a recap of that actually on Ice Lounge in a couple of days' time, we think. Well, let's get back to the action here at Circuit at Spa-Francorchamps. Inex Racing, they are your champions, and I'll tell you what, worthy champions at that. This is why you respond to me, Rob. I make a sentence.
Oh,
the way it works
I was waiting for
is
Dan
you
to
respond
interrupt
to it.
like he's been doing all day.
That's right, I ignore him after a while.
No, yeah, machines. They are. I watched Terminator 3 the other day. That is Inex Racing. They are the Terminators. Definitely of the sim racing world. They are Skynet. That's it. Long and short of it. They're amazing. I've never seen a team dominate like that.
I haven't for a long time. Go on, Dan. You talk for about 60 seconds.
Gonna say we saw a lot of good racing today at the front. Lauren Vtil and Inex Racing took away the victory by nearly 30 seconds, but the strength of this championship is even you don't have to be at the front to be involved in great battle. And we saw battles all the way down, really, from about the mid pack. We saw battles from 16th to 24th. We saw the battles between we saw the likes of the 13 Miko Tass involved in a lot of battling. We saw the number 50 car also was in the thick of it as well. Not number 50, but there was a lot of cars in the thick of the action, really, and it really was a fantastic race to watch, not just for the front, but for all over, really. And I believe Will Vincent has our first interviewee ready.
I have. In fact, we've got a number of them ready. I will come back to you in a moment, Alice, because we're going to talk to one of the Inex boys. Jason Lovett, congratulations. You just won the team championship. How you doing?
Woohoo! Oh, that was a tough race.
It was a long, tough, hard race. I'll tell you what, you actually been caught up by Hal Cordasso in the end there. But for you, it was pretty crazy because I mean, I don't know if you know, but the fact that you came onto pit road, you know, a lap before the other two drivers might have saved bacon a bit. Because Townend and Cordasso decided they wanted to crash into each other, coming up into Lacombe just after that. But, I mean, take us through your race. Take us through what's happened to you today.
Well, the start was not the best. Left the inside open first corner, and that kind of set it up for the rest of the race. Just struggled a lot in the draft. It was probably a bit skinny on the wings, and at high speed just couldn't stay close. So just made it really hard to even attempt to pass. And after a while, I decided just let Yao and Blake through and settle for 5th and see what happens.
But then after that pit stop, and say you were running in a net 3rd position, you saw Hal closing up on you. I'm guessing in the 2nd stage of the race, you just wanted to keep onto that podium spot. But how hard were you pushing that 2nd stint on the run? Was there still a little bit left in the tank? Hal got any closer?
Yeah, it's probably a few more laps, but I didn't want to risk it with sort of off tracks and warnings and whatnot. I just saw that the gap was staying fairly stable at mid 19s. I didn't try too hard.
I'm going to bring your team manager into this one. You can both talk about this one. You know, you won the team championship. You have been one of the fastest growing teams in sim racing over the last 12 months. How important is it for both driver and team manager for you to win this championship?
Well, it means quite a lot, especially because this is the first team championship that we're driving iRacing. Most of us comes from different simulators and decided to get together and start racing iRacing. So for us, this is a very big thing. And I personally believe we have found a pretty good what's it called, like a mixture of people that work very, very well off the track and on the track, and everyone does their share of the work needed to be able to perform on track. And it's extra fun when we can have fun at the same time doing that. So it's a mixture of good people that makes it all happen.
And for Jason, as a team driver, of course, the way the team championship works is you can't race all 6 rounds. First of all, how important is it for you to have had a good contribution to the championship? But also, how's the dynamic been throughout the team? The fact that you all have to rely on each other to get to the position that you're in now today.
Well, the dynamic's been good. We've all had fun practicing for our different rounds, and it's been good fun. And from a driving point of view, we just wanted to make sure that it was fun, really.
I tell you what, the idea that it's fun, you know, it's a lot more important than people think. Congratulations, Inex, you are the STC Blue Cup champions. I'm guessing that you're going to have a bit of fun at Homestead, Timo, but you're ready to defend for the Black Cup?
Yeah, absolutely, and we might actually throw in the Joker in the next race, and you guys will see.
We're intrigued.
Yes. Always intrigued.
We're intrigued.
When do you
now.
take over the world, Timo? How do we turn Skynet off?
Pinky and the brain.
No, I'm sorry, you can't have pink. That's David Ward. Okay, let's bring it back to attention. Dan, you are stood by with Blake Talent.
Blake, not quite the run you were hoping for. The incident with Cardoso put you back a bit. What actually happened there?
I just turned the car too quick. It was too quick of a direction and lost the rear end when I touched the side curb in, and I so nearly caught the slide, and then yeah, we made contact, unfortunately, and that gave me 30 seconds optional repairs. So yeah, a bit disappointed with that, because I think, you know, there was a lot of good battles going on, and I think, you know, despite the lack of practice, perhaps created a great set and the team, and yeah, we were able to keep up front. I think, yeah, it would have been pretty close towards the end for maybe second and third place for the podium. Just couldn't quite get there in the end.
Up to that point, you were having a good battle with Jason Levitt, Zhao, and at the start with Kevin Asher. What's it like to be racing in such a fierce battle for the majority of races, especially with this one being a 90-minute race?
Yeah, it's actually quite challenging. Driving this car compared to the Formula 1 car and the WCS is completely different. You know, you tend to brake a lot earlier when you're behind someone, because it's so easy to get sucked up in their slipstream under braking and, you know, make contact or just lose so much time. So you really have to stay calm when following drivers and make sure you know when to make a good opportunity of a pass, and make sure the guy you're battling with knows what he's doing as well. And you know, with both Jason and Joel, you know, that they gave me enough space, and we were able to keep battling.
Towards the end of the race, Frederick Tapman gave you a bit of a hard time as well. Did you think he might try and get past you?
Yeah, definitely, because my car was all over the place with the damage I sustained. He tried to overtake me a few times around the outside, just on the exit of the is it Kimmel Street, and yeah, there was nothing I could do apart from turn into the corner, because I had the inside line, and you know, we made contact a few times, but you know, I think that's just hard racing really at the end of the day. I'm not going to give too much room, because if you have the right to the corner or you're on the inside, you know, I think you have every reason to defend right down to the limit.
2 top 10s for the Radicals as we come towards the end of the season. That should do very well. You've got Homestead to go. Do you think you'll be able to contend for the podium positions at Homestead?
Hopefully so. I think it's just been, I think with all drivers, just preparation for these races. With most of us doing the WCS, it's quite challenging, and you know, obviously we've got other things as well that get in the way of practicing. So hopefully, you know, we'll be able to put a decent amount of practice as a team, and hopefully we can, you know, hopefully at least maybe get third if that's possible.
Thank you for your time, Ben. That's 6th place, Blake Townend.
Thank you. Can I just say congrats to Inex for the absolute domination in this championship, and hopefully we can battle them in the Black Cup. Also, thank you to Steel Series for sponsoring us, and all the guys that's put you know, a great effort into getting to where we are.
I still want my headset. Hi, Steel Series, how you doing? And from one Steel Series driver to another, Rob Kloss is with Alice Papler.
Hello, Mr. Papler. How are you, buddy?
Hello, how are you doing? I'm fine.
Excellent. How was your first racing since the time before dinosaurs? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, actually it was quite good. Obviously, I wasn't as prepared as I would want to be since I didn't have much time. And yeah, it's been a really long time since I've done my last race. Must have been like 6 months or so. But yeah, it was actually pretty challenging. Haven't done many races this long before. Obviously, the last one I did was Daytona, which didn't go so well for me.
So, what were your aspirations coming into a race after? When did you start practicing? You asked last night whether a server was up. So pretty much today you practiced. What were your aspirations when you just took to the grid?
Actually, well, I wanted to do good for the team, and I just wanted to have some fun, racing. But yeah, just generally fun, and wanted to do something good for the team since this is the only race that I can do because of the way my work is scheduled, my job. So yeah, I was glad to jump in and do something.
And you did. You jumped in and you scored some massive points for the team. To be fair, because the Radicals have not had much luck in this series so far.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, especially with Pablo. He's really fast, really, talented driver, having some bad luck in DWC and in this series. But yeah, I think I could have gone a bit higher in the standings at the end of the race if I would have done a better qualifying lap. In my first one, I got a 1x in Rouge, and the second one, I almost got a 1x in Rouge as well. So I lost half a second there, and in the end, well, I guess I was lucky to get into 14th position on the starting grid. But then I was stuck behind Jamie Rushford and I think Andreas Quintana, who were slower than me, and I couldn't pass because my car was just too slow down the front straights, or any straight actually. And yeah, I just had to wait for them to make a mistake, and they both made it, and I got past. So yeah, I'm happy about it. Top 10 is pretty good, achievement, I guess, for me for not racing for such a long time. And yeah, I'm probably gonna do more of this if my work time allows me to do it. So yeah,
Cool.
Actually pretty happy.
Great job for the team there, buddy. Well done. And
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, big shout out to Paps for racing for us, and good job for the stocking filler to stand by for us, which was Andy was our standby driver, so he waited it out and wasn't needed. But thanks for possibly filling the stocking. Maybe next time, Andy.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get his chance sooner or later. Maybe not in this championship, maybe in the black, or maybe in this one. You never know. And yeah,
Exactly.
I wanna thank everyone in the team, and I want to thank, of course, the series as Blake mentioned before.
I want my headset.
Oh, Will, I've got a spare headset. I'll send you one.
Deal.
Yeah, generally nice fun, good championship, really clean racing from everyone, and yeah, I'm happy I did this race.
Cool. Over to you, Will.
I think that's actually almost all we have time for, unfortunately. Just to sum up, for those of you who are just joining us at this ungodly hour, I'm jet lagged, by the way, so I don't even know what time it is. It is Hinex Racing. They are your new STC Blue Cup champions. And they've been dominant once again. Rob, there's a number of sponsors we need to thank. I haven't got the list in front of me. I know you have, though. Go!
Right, so we need to thank RC.net. Brilliant race seats, apparently. Never used one. Maybe send me one.
They are good.
Race department, obviously. Simulator J, Sim Racing Hardware, the procurement of amazing hardware. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. It's fantastic. MIR Race, where they do gloves and boots, as seen on the intro videos, the circuit guides with Pablo wearing them. And I've forgotten one. I've forgotten one. No, paint scheme thingy, but I can't remember them. Sorry.
We'll come back to them. We're sorry. And also, because I did spend the weekend over at the competition. action. Don't forget, you can also go to, if you've not actually been a member of iRacing before, what you do, go over to iRacing.com right now and get yourself half price off your first year's membership. You can be racing in this exact same car that these guys have been running at, the exact same track as well. All tracks are laser scanned, which is awesome. In fact, in the last 24 hours, they just released Kansas Speedway, which has an amazing road course. So you could be racing that as well. And you could be on Glacier TV one day with us lot. Of course, that is all we have time for. In 2 weeks' time, we have the rseat.net, 45 minutes of Miami. Homestead Miami Speedway, one of my favourite racetracks in the world. And I tell you what, it's a scary one at that as well. Very stop-start, very technical, but a lot of pressure on the tyres, and you've got that banking. So join us in 2 weeks' time, same place for that one. For myself, Will Vinton, that's Dan Blake over there, that's Rob Cuss over there, Jan Matikin on cameras. We'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.
Go get him, buddy. Go get him, man. You're passing him.